Do you want to know what kind of problems the thru hikers on the Appalachian Trail have been facing this past week? What kind of dangers they've been experiencing? What type of great times they have been experiencing? Well, buckle up, because here we go. So Chase and Buzz, they are over Mount Moosilauke. And he said that the temperatures were freezing up on Mount Moosilauke. Now, I don't know if he means that literally or not, but going from typical days of being in the 90s to higher elevations and it being, you know, probably down in the 50s, maybe 40s. Not sure, he didn't give it an exact time, but it could feel like it's freezing. So, and he also said the whites are hard, emphasis on hard. So he sends in this update.
Hey Ramdino, this is Chase coming to you from atop Kinsman Mountain. We left the Eliza Brook shelter. It's a great shelter, and did the climb up. One of the toughest climbs on the entire AT for me. So yeah, the good news is we have plenty of fresh water. There's been a lot of storms, and the bad news is some of the streams are getting almost impossible to cross. So there is that. And we have a lot of mud. Right now there's more mud up here that we've been dealing with than there was in Vermont. All right, check in with you next week.
Chuck and Bluegrass, they took a Nero in Gorham, New Hampshire after completing the presidential traverse. I'm sure that was absolutely gorgeous. He did say that when they went over Mount Washington, that was the only summit that they did through the presidentials where it was socked in and they didn't have any kind of views. So that is unfortunate, because that is one of the best views through there. But they're all good views anyway. So awesome to hear that, Chuck. He said it was a most amazing and beautiful experience anyway. And he said the rocks on the final descent down from Mount Washington are no joke. So they decided to go take a zero after they got done with that. And Daisy, you are a camera hog, so we're going to put you off here to the side. You go play with Coda. So he said the rocks on the final ascent are no joke. So they took a Nero before they got ready to tackle the Wildcats. And he reported in here after this report here just recently, within the past 24 hours, and they are through the Wildcat. So that is awesome. He also said that traverse was no joke because it was so steep and so muddy right now. Piercy was in Virginia, and he said Virginia was just absolutely brutal. But he decided to flip-flop up to Delaware Water Gap, and he's done that now. And interesting enough, and just this is how the trail provides for you folks out there that don't understand when somebody says the trail provides. This is pretty neat. So he met Salter, who was a female hiker that he met in North Carolina. She outdistanced him, and she hiked with him for a while with Sugar Bear. And it just so happens that they were in the same place at the same time, and he met her when he got up to Delaware Water Gap. So they are now hiking together once again through New Jersey and New York. Says the trail is nice, and the delis are even nicer. And so apparently they've been doing a lot of deli blazing up through there. And he says they've been hitting one every day almost. So I would definitely be doing that and taking some town food with me. They are about 3 days from Connecticut, and he said that he wanted to resupply for the entire hike through Connecticut because he said the food was pretty expensive and they would not be staying at any type of hotel. So Connecticut is kind of a short state. He did say on a bad note that his 62-year-old body is just self-destructing. Just all the abuse he's put through since he's been out through the course of it. So I am going to be hiking. That'll be about the age when I'm going to be doing the through hike if I decide to do that, which my plans are to do that. And so, yeah, I've got to do some things to stay in shape between now and that time. So I'll be turning 60 this year in October. So got to get in shape. But it sounds like from his description, and he gave him a better description of this, it sounds like everything's hurting on him. 111, he has made it to Vermont and passed the 1,600 mile mark. So congrats to him. And he should be north of Rutland by now. He has not sent in a video like he normally does, but we'll look for one next week. And then Sweet Potato, she is done with Maine. She sends in videos that give us a lot of trail information for those folks coming in. So she's on a subo portion of her flip-flop. She had flipped up to Katahdin, and now she's heading back south. Done with Maine. Here's her update video.
This is Sweet Potato taking a 00 in Gorham. finished Maine, and very happy about that. The northern part of New Hampshire, similar to Maine. I think the biggest challenge was the upkeep of the trail. A lot of the bog boards are sunken. Some of the nails are sticking way out. Somebody could really get hurt on those. So that's an issue. Mahoosuc Notch wasn't bad. Luckily, I went through in good weather, although it was a really big day. You know, an hour or two of boulder climbing, and then to continue for an additional 10 miles was a lot. But I'm looking forward to the whites. The weather does not look good, but you know, hopefully that will clear up and give us some good weather for the northern presidentials.
KO and Jake's, they are around Wrangley, Maine for a Nero, and they are resupplying there. They said it was 86 and mostly sunny today. They are at the 1,976.8 mark there on their Appalachian Trail journey. So they are definitely, and they're on their last state, so looking forward to them finishing within the next week or so. Gadget Girl's in Vermont, and she sends in this update.
Hey Ramdino, Gadget Girl Bunny, Navajo Joe, and Finder here. We have made it to Vermont. It's been raining today. I think we're supposed to have rain the next several days. But before that, we've had some pretty nice weather here. Nice coolish days. It's been good hiking.
I don't know if you noticed or not in that picture there, or in that video there, you may have to back up and look at it, but Vermont, the mud in Vermont is black as pitch. And not only that, it is very, very sticky. Now, I went through there, it was ankle deep in a lot of places, and when it sticks on you, your trail weight usually goes up about an extra 5 pounds. So Vermont, not only is it muddy and you're wet and everything's muddy, but you're also carrying more weight through there. Spare and Micah, they took a 0 in New Hanover, New Hampshire, so congratulations. That means they finished Vermont, now on their last 2 states, and they took a Nero before they hit the whites, and they should be over Moosilauke by now. Drifter and Blue, they are through the presidentials. Congratulations to them. Payday, he is through the Kinsman, and he sends in this update.
Hello, it is Payday from North Kinsman Peak right now, looking over Franconia Ridge, somewhere in the clouds back there. Amazing view, absolutely stunning up here. Current trail conditions, it is wet. It is much wetter than Vermont ever was. New Hampshire kind of puts Vermont to shame when it comes to the mud and river walking that you have to go through. But otherwise, still doing really good out here. Heading north.
So wet all the time right now seems to be the standard for what's going on out there in the New England states. He said that after some substantial rain, they crossed at Cascade Brook, which is at mile marker 1,823-ish, and they said it was a little tricky. There were comments on far out about being impassable, but they crossed just fine after negotiating the rocks and taking their time. So the comments on Gut Hook was probably before the water levels went down, but I want you to look at this video and take a good look at it. Let's roll that video. So appreciate you sending that in. I'm going to use him as an example, so I want you to tell me what in that video. Leave it down in the comments, and I'll come back and reply later if you got it right or not. But leave down in the comments what he didn't do right in that creek crossing there. So, or actually it looks like a river crossing, but there's a lot of water moving through there very swiftly. So he negotiated it, got through there fine, but tell me what you think he didn't do that he should have done in that. And then Matt Hermit, he is in New Hampshire. He sends in this update.
You know, it's Matt Hermit checking in with you. walking through Norwich on the way to the bridge over the Connecticut River and into Hanover. So pretty soon we'll be in New Hampshire. Today's a warm and humid one, 87 degrees and very humid. But I see we're heading for some breaks in the weather later, maybe first of the week, and it's going to drop 10 degrees. I'll be happy about that. Just took 2 days off with my wife and some friends for restorative measures, and before I met them, there were very few people at 3 nights in a row at various shelters. I was by myself, and there were 3 other people, and then just 1 other. So I must have been a little pocket there. But the weather's looking up, getting into a new state, looking forward to the whites. Thanks for all you do.
That's awesome to hear that he is got to spend some time there with Mrs. Mad Hermit. It's always nice to spend some trail time with your loved ones, particularly this far in the hike where you probably need that mental boost there. But he is into New Hampshire, so that means he's got 2, and he's through, and he'll be a through. How about that? And then Wolfman, he has crossed the Kennebec River earlier this week. So that was really early this week. So he is long ways up the trail from Kennebec River by now. One of the things that a lot of folks have told me throughout the course of this week is that water sources have, even though they've had a lot of rain, particularly in the southern states, and stuff like south of New Hampshire, say south of Vermont, there have been a lot of dry creeks, a lot of dry places, and trail angels are out there supplying water caches, just plain water, maybe some electrolytes in it. So thanks a lot for you trail angels that have done that out there. I've heard from a lot of people that has made a huge difference of them being able to get through there, because you can carry a lot of water, right? But water's like 2.2 pounds per liter. So it just gets to be very, very cumbersome. If you got to, you got to. But fortunately, there has been water sources out there that in the form of water caches that trail angels have put out there. So trail angels like Maple, she put out like over 100 gallons so far. So thanks a lot to Maple and all those other folks out there that have been doing that. We did have one that got off this past week, and that was Inchworm. So Inchworm had been updating us on a regular basis. He decided he would flip down to Georgia. Georgia is a hot state. Georgia can be a dry state, and he just decided that it was too hot and too dry, and he was miserable and not enjoying his hike anymore. And so he decided to call his hike for now. Hopefully, he says he's going to get back out in the fall and finish up his hike. But hey, that happens from time to time, and if just people just getting out there trying to do a through hike, man, they're aces in my book. Just getting out there and trying to make an attempt at it, whether you finish or not. So that's awesome, Inchworm. Hope to see you back out there. Let us know when you do. So that's all the 24 hikers we've got that's updated me this past week. If you're a 2024 or a family member of 2024, we want to know the update, what's going on. We especially want to know when they summit, whether they've been updating us throughout the course of this year or not. So by all means, send us their summit picture and also include what their summit number is. That's on their hiker pass that they give you when you get ready to go up to Baxter Peak. So give us that. But wherever you're on the trail, have them update us, tell them to send us a selfie, or even a 30-second video is awesome to have that. So anybody like that can update us. And then you 2025 hikers, I have already opened up the list now for the support list for 2025 hikers. So to put yourself on that link is down below, the form for that. And then if you are following 2025 hikers, some of them have already started posting videos. So and it'll give you the opportunity to go and, hey, pick out the folks that you're going to be following this year or next year, rather. So go ahead and check that out. And 2025, look forward to seeing you get on that list. Already got a bunch of folks that are already on that list. This past week, I had asked the community through different social media sources. I'm planning a lash in Pennsylvania coming up, and it's having some issues with the logistics because where I'm starting in Pennsylvania, there's no bus that goes directly to it. So it was going to be like a train to bus station, to another bus station, or maybe a train to a train and then to a commuter train, and then to a bus, and then I was going to have to Uber or take a cab or something like that. And so the logistics, I'm not familiar with all the bus routes and everything up there, so I asked the community to help me. You guys came through in spades, not only offering suggestions, giving me telephone numbers of people that could help me and shuttles in the area, but a lot of you also came through and said, hey, I'll come and get you, or I'll come and resupply you. So man, that is just so awesome. What a awesome community we have out there. And I know people do that because I'm on YouTube. They know I'm doing this, but I know there are lots of people out there that would do that for anybody, whether they got a social media account or not. So thanks a lot for you folks that offer to do that. I got it handled right now. Mentioned to a few of you that if something falls through, then I definitely will reach out to you. And then also reach back out to me. I would love to meet you somewhere on the trail if you live near the trail where we're going to be coming through. So we're starting there just north of the Pennsylvania line around the 16 where it goes through. And then we'll be heading on past Buchanan. Don't know if we'll make, I think it's Swatary Gap. Don't know if we're going to make that or not. That's a little past 100 miles, and I'm only going to be on the trail for like 5 or 6 days, so that may be pushing it. But looking forward to getting out there on the trail, and I'm looking forward to the train trip as well, because it's been since I was knee-high to a duck's tail taking a train trip. We did that with the family back when I was little bitty, and enjoyed it then, and really hadn't been on a train since other than a commuter rail. So I'm looking forward to that. Now, a train is twice as much as an airplane ticket, so I'll be flying back, but I am going to be taking the train up there. And of course, the train's like, I don't know, 9, 11 hours. That doesn't include if it got to get off the side of the tracks for a freight train coming through or something, or God forbid somebody have a wreck somewhere, train wreck. But flying back, it's only going to take me an hour and a half to get back. So I'm looking forward to all that, but what I'm really looking forward to is getting out there on the trail and getting some trail time in. So thanks a lot to all the folks that supported me. And speaking of support, so my merch store is a place that people go that they can support me by buying the merch. And this week, up until August 10th, everything's on 15% off except for the stickers. But everything else, the coffee mugs, the t-shirts, the dry fit shirts, men's, women's, all of that stuff is 50% off. Coffee mugs, everything's 15% off until the 10th. And then at the 10th, it all goes away, and we're going to be revamping that store, coming out with some all-new merch. So if you want any of the merch that's on there now, the link's down below. Go check it out. You'll support the channel because that helps me out when folks buy that there, and greatly appreciate whatever you do there. And if there's something that you would like to see on that merchandise-wise, let me know. Because it doesn't do any good for me to produce something and then nobody buy it, or only 1 or 2 folks buy it, right? So I want to do whatever it is y'all like, and so since we're revamping it, now's the time to get that done. So we got some news out there on the channel. So the bubble is definitely moving through Vermont right now. So Spineless Cougar, who is our northern Trail Angel correspondent, he typically does his Trail Angel sites there in Vermont, and he always sends us in his data that he collects there. So here's a picture of him with Bricky. I don't know what the heck Bricky is. I think it's somebody started painted a brick yellow and started having people carry it to Katahdin. If you're an ultralight hiker, you probably hadn't carried it, but in any case, somebody let me know what the heck Bricky is. I don't have a clue what all that's about. But in any case, he carried Bricky about 100 yards is what he did there. But he did send us his stats on the hikers up there. So he takes stats about as far as what their pack weighs, when they started, what their bag tag number was, did they have Noro, things like that. And he does it for Sobo, flip-floppers, Nobo Pure, as well as long trailers. So anybody coming through his site, he does that. And of course, in Vermont, where he's doing it, the long trail is on, shares the treadway with the Appalachian Trail. But anyway, so his average pack this past week, and this comes from about a sampling of 39 hikers. So he had a average of 26.62. Now some of that is kind of slewed lower because we had some really low ones and a couple really high ones. So the range was anywhere from somebody with a pack of 13.7 to a maximum of 39. So that kind of slews the data. So the median pack is really the better algorithm to look at, or the number to look at, because that says, okay, right here's the middle of the pack of what, rather than the average, here's the middle of the pack, what everybody's carrying. And that weight was 27.7 pounds. So, and these are all Nobo pure, so I didn't factor in any Sobo or flip-floppers or long trailers in there, because there wasn't a lot of flip-floppers, and their pack weights and Sobo tend to be a little different depending on where they flip-flop. So I was just looking at the Nobos. On this particular one, he didn't have a lot of Sobos and flip-floppers or long trailers anyway. The latest to start was Cash Only, who had a bag tag number of 2,527, and they started on April 27th at Springer. And the earliest starter we had was Moonshine with a bag tag number of 531, and they started February 29th. So that kind of gives you an idea of, hey, Cash Only was really booking it up the trail to get there at the same time with bag tag, starting in April, as Moonshine, who got there in February. And then out of the 40 plus who signed it, so including the 40 plus would be including those long trailers and Nobo, Sobo, flip-floppers, only one of them had Noro. So given that the earliest start there was in February, most of them starting later than that, that's getting them beyond the point of the Smokies and Hot Springs, where typically you see the largest population of people that have had Noro. So that's great. Whispers, our northern correspondent in the Whites, he reports in that the bog bridging on Mount Success and Goose Eye and the Mahoosucs has finally had some work done to them in the last few weeks. So he said it's now possible to get through both peaks largely with dry feet. So they're new bog bridges, I'm assuming, and that's awesome because they're not going to be so slick. Typically, bog bridges are slick as owl snot on a hot tin roof. They don't believe in hardware cloth up north, and so somebody told me one time, well, that's so we can sweep the snow off. Well, I don't know about that. They are slick. I don't know how many people are coming out in the backcountry sleeping off snow, but they are slick, particularly without the hardware cloth on them. So a lot of times when I was going through Vermont and Massachusetts, I didn't even use them because they're really kind of dangerous. Plus, a lot of them are rotten. A lot of the nails are sticking out. You step on one end, the other end will pop up, tripping up the guy behind you or the guy in front of you. So they can be really tricky. So you folks up there, if it's not a new bog bridge, be careful up there. And then also, even though it's down in the south, Whispers sent in some information that Rusty's Good Time Hollow, which is in Virginia, is still open. So Rusty, I think he had bypass or, he's rehabbing following a stroke and is recovering. But he is keeping the Good Time Hollow open. So I don't know if he's there manning it or somebody else is there looking out for him, but he says go there. And I'm presuming he means if nobody's there, sleep on the porch, sleep out in the bunkhouse. He said that showers are outside, or all outside the house, and there's sodas in the spring house. So that is awesome that Rusty's doing that, and Rusty's been around a long time. He's kind of an icon of the trail. So that's pretty cool. So Rusty's Good Time Hollow there, it's about 60 miles south from the entrance to the Shenandoahs, right there on the Blue Ridge Parkway. So when you come to Reed's Gap, it's right there nearby. And I did not know that, or I would have stopped in, and actually I thought it was completely closed and for sale. So, or I would have stopped in when I did my Priest and Three Ridges Wilderness section here a couple weeks ago. So, but anyway, go check that out. We also got the Alta Gathering, that's the Appalachian Long Distance Hikers Association. That's coming up in October 11th through the 14th. So you can go online and register for that. That's in Abington, Virginia. And that's a really good time for the trail community to come together. There's classes and just conferences and there's vendors there, all kind of neat stuff going on, and just fellowship with the hiker community. So I would highly encourage you to go do that. Woods Hole Weekend is coming up here soon. And Woods Hole Weekend is basically a training session for those people that are going to be through hiking in 2025. So I'll leave a link to that down below, but there's going to be a lot of instructors there teaching you about your through hike. You'll even have an opportunity to get out there on an overnight practicum and go through your gear, and just people that have through hiked before, people that have a lot of experience with through hike, even people that have done a lot of section hikers like me. I'll be there as a instructor, and so it's going to be a good weekend. Go down below. There's a small cost to that to take care of food and lodging there. So that is going to be a great time. And then I found a picture there. This is Mount Lafayette last Saturday, and there was over 1,000 people on Franconia Ridge in Mount Lafayette that day. So stewards of the trail and volunteers, they estimated that 20% of those hikers ventured off the trail and onto the alpine vegetation. They left trash, human waste, animal waste, all kind of stuff like that up there. This can be something that they're going to wind up stopping people coming through there. They may even move the trail if we can't take better care of our resources. So I'm sure a lot of these folks are day hikers, people that are not familiar with Leave No Trace, but that's something that we can do to help educate people out there. Don't be ugly about it, but you can certainly, if you see somebody, their dog doing something over here, or them leaving toilet paper over there, not digging a cat hole or not hauling out trash, that's something that we can, tell people, hey, don't do that, but do it in a kind way, because we represent the hiker community out there, right? But anyway, this is something that if it keeps up like this, is going to become like Zpacks, where they barred people from camping out overnight on Zpacks now for the past 4 years, and they've got another 2 years to go, and then they may do it, extend that period there depending on how well Zpacks covers. But Zpacks, it looked like something out of a 3-ring circus up there. Terrible. People left tents, beer bottles and cans and paper, and just fire scars everywhere, and so they shut it down. And you can't have fires there anymore, and you can't camp out there anymore right now. And that was one of the iconic places that thru hikers like to camp out. So anyway, let's not let that turn into a Zpacks. As I said earlier, I'll be doing a lash up in Pennsylvania. I'm going to be leaving Sunday, so you folks that are updating me, I'll need your updates in early, like Wednesday or Thursday of this week, so I can put this video together and get it out before I leave on Sunday. I'm getting really pumped up about that trip up there. I just hope that hike isn't as hard as the hike I just got done through with down in the Priest area and the Three Ridges. And if you're interested in seeing all the junk I went through there and how I was probably a little ill prepared the first day, or really throughout the whole hike, and a lesson learned from that, you can go to the video over here and see that, and go and take a look at that, and send me a comment, tell me what I need to do better over there. All right, folks, that's all I got this week. As always, appreciate you, and we'll see you out here.